Okay, so we're going to look at the first 4 questions of the multiple choice paper. So the first question asks to look for the correct arrangement of electrons in an atom of carbon. First thing we should do is write out the written electron configuration of carbon, which is 1s2, 2s2, 2p2, and immediately that eliminates A and B because they've got too many electrons in the 2p orbital. So on to C and D. Now the difference is we're going to ask ourselves, are these electrons in the 2p subshell paired? Remember a rule, so electrons will not pair until they absolutely have to. They'll occupy orbitals singly until they're forced to pair. So C is not the correct answer. The correct answer is D. Moving on to question 2. So these, we're looking, if we think about it, actually some displacement reactions of halogens. The kind of easiest way to think about this is to think about these ions as being part of another compound, so potassium bromide, and ask ourselves, well, would iodine displace potassium bromide? The answer is no, because iodine is less reactive than bromine. So look at Cl2. Plus KBr. So this reaction would happen. But we need to check whether bromine's been reduced here. So it's gone from an oxidation state of -1 to 0. So actually this is an oxidation of bromine. So actually bromine's not being reduced. So in this case, B is not the correct answer. We'll do C. So well, actually, this is just a reverse of the reaction we've just done. So it's basically asking us, has chlorine been reduced in this reaction? So it's gone from an oxidation state of 0 to -1. So in fact, that is a reduction of chlorine. So the answer is actually C, and we can double check D. So iodine plus KCl. Now this reaction wouldn't happen again because iodine is less reactive than chlorine, so D is definitely not the answer. Moving on to 3. So what molecule of gas has a mass of 2.658 times 10 to the minus 23? So we're looking at the possible formula of the gas. So we want to work out what the mass of 1 mole is. So the mass of 1 mole. So if one molecule has a mass of this, if we times it by Avogadro's number, we'll get the mass of 1 mole. So if we do that, we get an answer that is pretty close to 16. So now we need to think about which one of these gases has an MR of 16. The correct answer is methane, CH4, has an MR of 16. On to 4, so we're looking at a neutralization reaction. So first thing is to work out the moles of hydrochloric acid that have been spilt. So 0.05 dm cubed, can make sure we make that conversion, times by 2 equals 0.1 moles. Now we need to write out the equation. So this is sodium carbonate reacting with hydrochloric acid to form these products. And if we actually go ahead and balance that out, we find that we've got a 2-to-1 ratio between the HCl and the sodium carbonate. So if we've got 0.1 moles of hydrochloric acid, that would need 0.05 moles of sodium carbonate. And now we need to convert the moles of sodium carbonate into a mass. So 0.05 times by 106. And that gives us a mass of 5.3 grams. So the correct answer is B.